Hi everyone. Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing? It's been a while, guys. Like I've been so busy this period. I've had a lot on my plate. I've had a lot of things to do, and I was supposed to have come up earlier, but I couldn't. I wasn't able to meet up. Okay. So how are you guys doing? Yeah. Let me shift this so that clear. I don't know. I don't know the angle. I'm not liking the angle. Okay, so let me take it a little bit further. I think it's okay like this. Can you guys see me very well? I don't know if you guys can see me very well, but I don't know if it's better like this. I'm trying to look at the best angle. Is it clear like this? I think it's clear like this. If you can hear me, let me know, please. Can you hear me? Okay, I think it's kind of clearer now. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so today's topic is about the shocking results of Miss Earth. Actually, Miss Earth was held last week. I think yeah, last week, and there were a lot of shocking results that came out of the pageant, and a lot of persons aside from pageant bloggers, the contestants, the just everyone in general has been talking about how the results of Miss Earth this year was kind of shocking, especially to the African countries and also Nigeria because I was expecting Nigeria to place. It's not because of that I'm a Nigerian, okay, but I know that Nigeria put in her best for her to have at least placed at the top 20, and it was a shocker to me and to everyone else that she did not place, okay, and this is more reason why I'm saying we need to put out vent out our anger because it's not fair to the African countries at all. But I think out of the African countries that participated this year, I think we had just three persons in the top 20. Namibia, South Africa, and Ethiopia made it to the top 20. And is it top 20 or top 30? I didn't watch the show, guys. I didn't watch the show. I was very busy that particular day. Before I was able to catch up, they've gone very far in the competition. So I wasn't able to watch to from the beginning of the show. But aside from that, after the show, a lot of persons have have talked about their displeasure at the fact that Miss Ed they have carefully sidelined the African countries from winning the competition. I think out of the how many years has Miss Ed, okay, Miss Ed has been on for some time now. I think for over 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think over 30 years. Throughout the entire history of Miss Earth, we've not had a black winner. We've not had an African winner, which is very, very, um, very, very sad because I'm like, wow, when I went through the history of Miss Earth pageant and the placement of African countries, the winners and all, no African country or no black person has won Miss Earth, which is very, very disturbing. Okay, for me, it shows that they are in the same line with Miss International. They don't want a black winner. So at this point, a lot of persons have started to vent their anger, and it was because of all this that I went to do it my research, and I found out that actually Miss Etta has not really crowned an African representative in the past 25 years of existence. They've been on this business for the past 25 years, and they've not crowned any African representative. Okay, so the question we're going to ask ourselves is when will they have an African winner? Because I've seen that these ladies putting their best into the competition. At the end of the day, they're not really giving the placement that they deserve, which is very sad. Okay, and it's it shows that there's a lot more African countries that have participated in Miss Earth, since inception of the pageant, and they've only been placing. I think the highest placement was in top four. The highest placement that Africa has gotten so far in Miss Earth is top four, which is very sad. I did a lot of research and I'm like, what is all this? What is all this? I was here talking about Miss International not having a black winner yet, and Miss Earth is still, Miss Earth is another pattern that has not really had a black winner, in the past 25 years. Okay, so there are some persons that have actually participated in Miss Earth previously that have also, gone on to other pageants that have done very well. One of them is Abina Apia. You guys know that Abina was Miss Grand International in the year 2020. Yes, she has actually participated in Miss Earth. Okay, and even after winning the most gold medals, she gave a very good performance, but she failed to advance to the top 10. Okay, and you guys remember that she won Miss Grand International. All right, so Abina Apia, she represented I think she represented USA in Miss Earth in 2019. So she didn't place in the top 10, but she got the highest gold medals. All right, Daniel Bernardo, where are you chatting from? You said Miss Earth 2022 is Miss Kenya. Oh, really? Well, anyway, I'm still in the process because what I did my research, it was more or less like placements, and I was just trying to figure out what happened in Miss Earth project. But I didn't know that 2022 was Kenya. I don't think I went that far in my research, so you're just letting me know. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the information. But at the same time, I feel like Africa has not really gotten that um that much placement in Miss Earth. Okay, so now let me get back to what I was saying. Um, so later that year, Abina Apia went on to win Miss Grand International after you know failing to advance to Miss Top 10 in Miss Earth. Okay, so 2022, we had Tamarin, who represented South Africa and won three gold medals, which was um, a good one, but she ended up not. She couldn't advance, to the top 10. So it's not by winning the medals. So it is not by winning the medals. It's not by doing very well in the sub competitions. You might not actually place after winning those medals. I remember Ghana this year. Ghana won a lot more medals from the African country. She won gold, she won silver, she won bronze, but yet she did not place. And her mother came out and had a lot of things to say about the Miss Earth organization. We are coming to that. Okay, I'm going to be playing the voice note that her mother talked about what happened in Miss Earth. But before then, I'm just giving you guys a history, okay, of what has been happening with the African representative in Miss Earth. Okay, so if you're going to be watching this live stream, let me know your thoughts on it. All right. So another person that did very well is Bokang Montjane. She was in Miss Earth in 2027. She was from South Africa and won the most important title of Beauty for a Cause award at Miss Earth. Despite that, she could not manage. She could only manage the top 10. Canada won that year, who is a half Filipina. Okay. She later represented her nation at Miss World and became a continental queen of Africa. Okay. You see? This particular person, Bokang Mont Jane, she was in Miss Earth in 2027, 2007. She won the most, she won some medals and she won one of the most important titles of Beauty for a Cause, but she only managed to make the top 10. So that is one of the African contestants that really did very well, but did not win the competition. Okay. So going forward, we have Miriam Odemba. She was in Miss Earth in 2020. Okay, in 2008. Okay, and she the only other elemental queen from Africa lost to the home delegate from the Philippines. From that year till now, Miriam is still engaged in local. Okay, okay. I think she won one of the elements. Okay, but she didn't win the pageant that year. That was in 2008. Now, 2010, we have Atong the March. She represented South Sudan in 2010 in Miss Earth, and she was considered a very, very strong representative. Um, Unfortunately, she can only get to the top 14. She later participated in Miss World that year, and okay. Yeah, so Atong the March participated in Miss Earth in 2010. She represented South Sudan, and she could only make it to the top 14. Okay, so yeah, that's another sad one. All right, so going to Miss Earth in 2002, we had Winifred Omakwe. She represented Kenya, and she came second. All right, so this person that said that Miss Earth Kenya won in 2002. You see now, you see, I'm going through all the things that I was able to gather, and you said Miss Earth won. Miss Earth 2002 is Miss Kenya. So how come what I'm seeing here is that Kenya did not win in 2002? So you see that you got your information wrong. All right. So you said the medals are not fast track sports in Miss Earth, unlike Miss World. The medals are for the purpose of exposure and recognition. These events are not part of the pre-selection for the semis. Okay, but at least if you do very well in the sub competition, that means you are a likely, you're going to likely you're going to place and you're a potential winner. Or okay, I'm not saying that the person might win, but at least the person has put in a lot of effort. Okay, that's what we're saying here. That the African representative put a lot of effort, but yet they're not being given the recognition that they deserve. Okay, so that's my own bone of contention in all of this. So, like you mentioned, Kenya never won Miss Earth. Okay, African country did not win Miss Earth. So, like you mentioned, Winifred represented Kenya at Miss Earth in 2002 and came second. She came second. She did not win it. Upon her announcement as the winner, as the runner-up, she was runner-up, okay, and not the winner. The best of the girls walked out of the stage in protest. You see that year, I think there was a protest that year, according to what the information I'm getting here. Okay, the original winner was later dethroned. Omakwe was formally crowned as the new Miss Earth 2022 on August 7, 2023. She reigned till October 20th, only 3 months. So originally she was not the winner now, but the winner was actually dethroned. That was when she now assumed as the winner. So she was not originally the winner; she was a runner-up. So it was by chance that she got to reign as Miss Earth for just 3 months. So it was not as if she was the judge's choice from the beginning. She was just a runner-up that was later crowned when the original winner was dethroned. Okay, so it was just by chance. All right. So you said other notable mentions are Cherise from Ghana 2025 was the final straw. Even after winning several medals, she ended up with no placement. That's my bone of contention. That Ghana, because I remember that Ghana had a lot of medals. She won a lot of medals this year, but she could not even place. She didn't even get to the top 20. Sakile from Zimbabwe. You remember Sakile last year? I think she represented Zimbabwe last year in Miss Universe. Sakile 2023, who was started to be in the top four, ended up in the top eight. Same year, Esther from Nigeria won multiple medals, but but who could only make top 12. Okay. All right. So these are, the history of Africa's representation in Miss Earth. So we've not really had a winner for Miss Earth, apart from what happened in 2022 with Miss Kenya when she assumed, the title after the original winner was dethroned. So you can see that, African representatives have not really had it, have not really been successful, in Miss Earth. Okay, so for over 23 years of their participation, they've not really won Miss Earth, by merit, which is a very, very sad one. Which is a very, very sad one. So now coming back to Nigeria, Divine was a very, very strong representative, and I feel like having placed top 10 last year, Nigeria placed top 10 last year in Miss Earth. I was thinking that Divine was going to place higher this year because she did exceptionally well. She was one of the I think she won a medal this year. She won one of the competitions, sub competitions this year, and I was thinking that top 20, she's gonna place top 20, eventually go to top 10, or place higher than that. But with she didn't place at all in the top 20, which was a very, very which was a shocker to me, because I was like, how come she didn't place? How come she was one of the favorites in the competition and she did not place? It was a very sad one for me. Like, it was a very sad one. A lot of persons really felt that Nigeria was robbed, of a top 20 placement. Nigeria was really, really robbed. Nigeria was really robbed. So now I want to play the voice note of the mother of Miss Earth Ghana. Yes, she talked about her experiences, her daughter's experience with Miss Earth, and why she feel like this is a cooking show. Okay, this is a cooking show. Miss Earth is a cooking show. She had a lot of things to talk about the competition, and she also talked about what really happened. Their experiences in the Philippines. And for this year's pageant, I feel like the Philippines don't really do a good job, because I was expecting more visibility for this pageant, this year's pageant. And I didn't get that visibility at all. There was no visibility. And you guys remember that one of my subscribers complained of this same thing in one of my other live stream that I did. Okay, so I feel like Miss Ed need to work on their visibility, work on putting out their content out there. We didn't get a lot of the content. All right, so let me play the voice note of one of the. Peace. Peace. Miss Ed International. Somebody with these number of awards. And you made us to believe. Sorry, guys. Miss Ed Ghana's mom calls out Miss Ed for possible racism, raises questions over credibility and outcome of the 2025 pageant. Okay, so this voice note you're going to hear is from the mother of Miss Ed Ghana. She calls the organization for possible racism, because you guys know that Miss Ed Ghana, like I told you guys, Miss Ed Ghana this year, she won a lot of medals, and she was like, how come she didn't make the top 20 placement at least? That would have been a justification for a good run in the pageant. Okay, so that is the voice that I want to play for you guys. The mother of Miss Ed Ghana, she talked about what happened to her daughter. Miss Ed International. Somebody with these number of awards, and you made us to believe that this pageant is one very competitive, and the award must right from day one. That's what you said. So even if when we're at the airport, your appearance there was assessed. Every stage of the competition was assessed. That is why you had the People's Choice. That is why you had one for the press. That is why you have different categories. So how can you have somebody with all these awards? And when is that day for her to prove to the world her competence? Do you intentionally eliminate such a person? Miss Khan and Nigeria. What is she? Please, I want to understand your pageant. You must have a criteria. Indeed, if you want to go for blonde and blue eye, then I'm sorry. Africans can never be blonde. Africans can never have those blue eyes. So what is our business there? If that is what you're looking for, if that's the beauty, your definition of beauty, just like some of the pageant, then we don't have to be there. Because when they said Miss Earth, I thought it was about the environment. How well you versed. It's not about the skin. It's not about the blue. All the candidates at the top never even had any one award. And you made us to believe from day one, even at the airport. So you had to take videos of your appearance. Yeah, you had to make those videos and then send to the organizers. So why did you ask the public to also participate? Why did you
Tell them that from the one you were assessing, when indeed you were just looking for blue-eyed and blonde girls.
Yes, they're looking for blue eyes and blonde hair in Miss Earth now. They've turned to something else. So
to Abena, you'd have to now Beverly, and you've done this for 20 years down the line. These brown girls, capable brown girls, you intentionally do not present them for people to know how racist you are. I cannot. And those people who cannot appreciate people for who they are, I cannot. And
she's sad.
I don't know what Africa thinks. Because really, if they're looking for blue-eyed girls and blonde, then what is your business? And this pageant, you gotta stay away and participate in pageants that appreciate your beauty and your uniqueness as Africans.
All right, so that was the mother of Miss Ghana, Miss Eth Ghana, when she was talking about, what happened to her daughter. And, she was also mentioned Nigeria. She mentioned Nigeria that, Nigeria and Ghana, they were robbed in the competition. She had a lot of things to say, about, the organization of the pageant, after the Nigeria and Ghana has done, the effort they put in, it was not recognized. She's also mentioned, the organizers wanted to crown blue eyes and blonde hair, and sidelining the African countries. Even if we had three slots in the top 20, but at least these ladies did a lot more than these other ladies that got the three slots from the African region. Do you understand? So my own bone of contention is that, why would you go through the pains of, preparing for the competition, winning these competitions, and you're not being placed in the top 20? Then your effort is just go to waste. What are they doing with those medals? Because the mother showed us the medals. I don't want to show the video here, but the mother of Miss Ghana, she showed us the medals that her daughter won. Out of those medals, she could not even they could not even she didn't make the top 20. She couldn't even place in the top 20 after winning those plenty medals. So what are those medals for? They will hang it on their room now. They will hang it on their, they will hang it, and they'll that's artifacts. Is it artifacts, or is it, what are they using those medals for actually? If they cannot place, if they don't guarantee the placement. So this is more or less like, they are trying to sideline the African countries, and they just gave us slot for three persons did not really do well in the sub competitions. Because tell me what Ethiopia, South Africa, and who else again made it? What did they do during the sub competitions? If they were to be called up by merit, if they were to make the top 20 by merit, what did they do to warrant them to be in the top 20? They didn't do anything. They didn't. To me personally, I feel like they were robbed. Ghana and Nigeria were robbed in Miss Earth this year, and they need to do something about it. Because the winner, I'm not taking it away from the winner. I'm not saying that she did not deserve it, but at the same time, I feel like Ghana and Nigeria deserve to be in the top 20. If we are going by their performances while they were in camp throughout the whole competition, if we are going by their performances, at least they would have made the top 20. That is what Miss Ghana's mother is talking about. That if you're looking for blonde eyes, you're looking for blonde hair, rather, not blonde eyes. If you're looking for blue eyes and blonde hair, then you should tell the African countries to stop participating now. It does not really make sense. She was really pained, and I really understood where she was coming from, because it was from a place of like, what is really happening? Why are the African countries being sidelined? Why are people that really deserve to be in that position? They deserve to make the top 20. They did not make the top 20. This year's result was it was whack. This year's Miss Earth result was not it at all. It was very, 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 very. I don't know. It was rigged. Let me just use the word rigged. It was rigged. Because I remember following Nigeria's performances, and expecting her to do to place in the top 20. She did very well in the competition. She did extremely well in the competition. So I was shocked. I was shocked. I think she won an award, advocacy of pitch of queen at the National Teachers College. She won an award. Yeah, she won an award. She did very well. So I wasn't expecting that, Nigeria will not place. And most especially Ghana too. Ghana won a lot of medals during the sub competitions. At least she would have placed. So this is very sad. It's a sad one. And I feel like at this point, if the judges, are not, following the sequence, I don't know the sequence that they followed when they were doing the whole judging format, but I feel like, Nigeria and Ghana were most especially robbed in this competition, and it's not fair at all. Looking at the history of African representative in Miss Earth, it seems as if, we're not going to have an African winner because they are usually, they are sidelining the African countries. And these girls do a lot. They do a lot in the competition. They merit their perform. They merit their placement. But this year's placement from the African region, it was not merited at all. Because tell me what the three placement, what they did in the sub competition. They didn't do anything now. They didn't do anything as much as, Ghana and Nigeria did. They didn't do that much. So how come they placed in the top 20? At least the judges should explain to us how they play the South Africa, Ethiopia, and who else again? Namibia placed when Ghana and Nigeria did better than them. How come they placed? So that's my own bone of contention. I feel like at this point, the African countries or the judges rather, I think they should, try as much as possible to let this judging format be transparent. Because to me, I don't think this year's competition was transparent at all. It wasn't transparent. It was, I don't know how they came about the winner, but at the same time, I feel like, let us have a top 20 that merits placement, not people that don't merit it. Doesn't make sense at all. So you guys saw what Miss Ghana's mom said. I feel like at this point, the African countries, should come together. Ethiopia, okay. How the Ethiopia place, I don't know, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that even if they are to have this African countries place, but the persons that did the most job for me were Ghana and Nigeria. Most especially Ghana. Ghana won a lot of awards, and for her not to place, it was a very big shock to me. I was shocked. I was really, really shocked that Ghana did not place at all because I saw her as, one of the persons that really did a lot more than Ethiopia, Namibia, and South Africa. That is my own observation. I know a lot of persons, we agree with me. If you follow the Miss Ed pageant, you agree with me that Ghana did a lot more than Ethiopia, Namibia, and South Africa. So why did Ghana not place? What's she going to be doing with those medals if she did not place? And you guys heard what her mom said. Her mom was really pained. They were pained because they did a lot. She knows what her daughter went through. Say placement are not based on proportional continental placement. That's why they. I understand. I don't know how they did this whole thing because for me personally, I feel like if you have been doing very well in the sub competitions, then you deserve to place now. What are the medals for? What are the medals for? Is it to hang in your wall and be looking at it and say, okay, when I went to Miss Earth, I won this so medal, I won gold medal, I won silver medal, I won bronze medal. But you did not place in the top 20. You're not you did not even get to the semi-finals. Then what is the use of the medals? What is the use of the medals? Anyway, if you want to add to what I just said, I'm going to be placing the link. So if you don't have anything good to say, please don't join this link. Oh. Don't just click on the link if you don't have anything tangible to talk about. Okay, let me paste the link for those of you that want to call and join in. But for me personally, I feel like these results were not it did not reflect on the performances of the ladies. I feel like if you are going by the performances of the ladies, I think Nigeria and Ghana deserve to place. That is my own thoughts on this whole thing. If you have a contrary opinion, I respect your opinion, but I feel like if we are going by the truth, If you're going by the truth, you will on that you will definitely agree with me. If you are going by the truth,
Ready to
you
lead the
definitely agree
future
with
of
me. You definitely agree with me because for me, I feel like this is more or less like a pageant that I feel like is more transparent. Miss Earth has been a pageant that I look forward to because I feel like they are transparent in terms of their judging and all that. But given what has been going on over the years, I feel like the African representatives, are not really given that much recognition. Number one, and number two, what are the sub competitions for? If it's not, I'm not talking about fast track now. Let's forget about fast track because, like one of my commenters here mentioned, he said Miss World. I think let me even read the comment. He said Miss The medals are not fast track sports in Miss Earth, unlike in Miss World. The medals are just for the purpose of exposure and recognition. These events are not part of the pre-selection for the semis. Then why would they even stress themselves? To me, I cannot be I cannot be doing well in the sub competition when I know that the main competition I'm not going to place. It does not make sense now. What sort of recognition and exposure? Because to me, I feel like if you're winning medals in the sub competition and you're not being recognized in the main competition, then there's no need stressing yourself winning medals. So because what are the medals for in the first place? If you're looking for recognition and you're not giving the recognition that you deserve, then what are you fighting for? He said the mid-earth mechanism is choosing the semis. Okay, in choosing the semis is based on three formal judging rounds: beauty of the face, body, and interview. Also, the slot for the semis per continent is based on the proportion number. There are only three slots for Africans in the semis, based on based on the total number of African candidates, proportionate representation based on me. I'm not saying talking about the proportionate recognition or whatever. What I'm saying is that the person that deserve to be in the top deserve to represent the African countries, they did not call them up. The countries that I feel like they did very well in the sub competition, they did not call them up. So why? What is the stress of the sub competitions? He said those activity medals are nonsense. It is better not to get any medals since they are not indicators for automatic semi placement. Know when to speak, and these are the formal judging rounds. That's what I'm saying. Because if to me personally, I felt like when you're doing well in the sub competitions, at least you should be guaranteed a placement in the semi-finals or in the finals. Do you understand? That is what I thought. So if these girls go through the stress of winning these medals or the sub competitions and get to they don't get to place, then why go through the stress? That is my own board of contention. Why go through the stress? Because it does not really make sense to me. Going forward, these ladies will not even put in that effort again anymore in the sub competitions. Because winning a lot of medals and you're not getting the top 20 placement, then what is the essence now? It does not make sense. It does not really make sense. So that is my own bit of contention, or that's my own thoughts on this issue. I feel like Miss Earth this year was kind of rigged. It was not really a true reflection of what happened during the sub competition. So I think at this point, um these ladies, they need to protest and let us know how this judging format works, what forms judging format, how these girls are being judged. Because a lot of persons are saying that why would these girls go through these soap competitions, put in their effort, do very well, at the end of the day they don't place. It does not make sense now. It does not really make sense. Okay, so that is my own thoughts on this whole Miss Earth 2025 competition. If you have a contrary opinion or if you want to add to what I said, please comment down below. And if you're not going to join me on the stage, no problem. It's all good. I think that I've exhausted all I have to say in today's live stream. I have another one coming up very soon, shortly. So let me just end this one and begin the other one. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you all in my next live stream coming up shortly. Okay. Hope you join me very soon. All right, guys. And let me know your thoughts on this particular topic, okay? And I'll see you all in my next live stream. Bye.